Congress leader who attacked the honorable Prime Minister because Prime Minister comes from a poor family. Prime Minister comes from the OBC community. That's why their attitude is against tribal, against Kisan, Jat, against OBC community who comes from the a very, very poor community. तो ये बहुत गलत तरीके से आज पार्लियामेंट प्रीमाइसेस में ड्रामा अनफोल्ड हुआ है सर. तो इसके लिए कांग्रेस पार्टी और इंडिया अलायंस गठबंधन गठबंडिया अलायंस के जो लोग हैं आप लोगों को माफी मांगना चाहिए चेयर से.
जिस प्रकार से तृणमूल कांग्रेस और कांग्रेस के सदस्यों ने जो हमारे सदन का अपमान किया है, हमारे नेता का अपमान किया, हमारे चेयरमैन का अपमान किया है, इस सदन के लीडर के रूप में आज चेयरमैन हम सबका संरक्षण करते हैं. पूरे जाट समाज ने इसकी निंदा की है और यहाँ एक जाट नेता कांग्रेस का बैठा हुआ आपका अपमान होते हुए इन्होंने निंदा नहीं की है. ये है कांग्रेस का चेहरा, ये कांग्रेस का जाट चेहरा, ये आम आदमी और कांग्रेस का सही रूप.
My guest this evening, R.S. Pathania, spokesperson of the BJP, Advocate A.P.S. Khadial, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Tushar Gupta, political analyst, Sanjay Jha is an author. Can I start with you, Mr. Khadial, and ask you whether what Kalyan Banerjee did was really necessary and in keeping with the spirit of Parliament? Come on. This is juvenile behavior. This was simply not required.
If we were to talk of juvenile behavior, to not take an action against the Bharatiya Janata Party's MP would qualify to be that. To not have an FIR registered, arrest to be made, inquiry to be done, interrogation to be done, questions to be asked. When that's not done, that calls for juvenile behavior. However, second of all, the chairman took notice of what 141 MPs did in the parliament, outside the parliament, very minutely. However, the chairman also should have taken notice of what the Bharatiya Janata Party's MP did by endorsing the individual because of whom the security breach happened. And 141 MPs have been suspended. It's all right because the Bharatiya Janata Party's minister moved the motion for suspension. But when would the Bharatiya Janata Party's individual one MP be suspended? When would his membership be cancelled for what he did? Because the rules and guidelines categorically say that the MP who's endorsing the individual, it's his responsibility for what he does in the visitors gallery. And there are two categories only possible for that. One, either he has to be personally known to the MP, or there has to be an acquaintance of an MP's personally known. So now the third thing that I want to talk of is that if it is wrong to record the video that a lot of BJP leaders have been talking about, I want to ask them then, why did your leaders, why did the media, record it? Why did the media show it? Why did your leaders talk about it? Why did you comment upon it? Because the Bharatiya Janata Party can talk of everything, everything, just not about their Bharatiya Janata Party's MP. And second of all, I don't understand that. I don't understand one thing. That Mr. Modi can talk to, a newspaper, give an interview. Mr. Shah can give interviews to TV channels, but they cannot speak in the floor of the House. The only concern, the only mistake that these MPs made was that they resonated, that they spoke what the country was speaking. They demanded
Mr. Khadial, that's another debate. That's another debate. No, I'm asking you specifically about what Kalyan Banerjee has done. I'm specifically asking you about Kalyan Banerjee has done. That was juvenile behavior. That wasn't required. But Tushar Gupta, Mr. Khadial,
5 seconds only, Shreya. What Mr. Banerjee has done is 100 times less than what the Bharatiya Janata Party's MP has done by endorsing the individual that got into the parliament.
Okay, Tushar Gupta. So that is the defense that is coming in to what has happened on the steps of Parliament, and we are seeing the video on our screens as well. It's a video that is going viral. It's open season in Parliament. MPs are getting suspended left, right, and centre. New records are being set. An MP who should be questioned is not being questioned. So the opposition will do what they want to do since this is open season in any case.
Well, the opposition is free to do what it wants to do, but Jagdeep Dhankar is not alone the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, he is also the vice president of India. I don't understand the problem. If they have a problem, indeed, the opposition has it with the BJP, not with Jagdeep Dhankar alone. I don't understand what that mimicry or mockery was all about. Rahul Gandhi was merely taking a video clip of it, perhaps to share it later on his official handle, and there were several other MPs laughing. Jagdeep Dhankar represents the sentiments of the people who elected him, much like the opposition represents the sentiments of the people who were they elected. But the opposition today is busy in heckling and disrupting the parliament. I understand they have concerns about the breach that happened at the parliament, but this is no way to go about it. You're sitting on the steps of the parliament, you're mimicking the vice president of India, and then you expect to be taken seriously in the upcoming elections or amongst the voters. I just don't know how that means. I understand they're angry about being suspended. They have the right to communicate their concerns to the media. They have been doing that, but mocking the vice president of India for merely doing his duty, that's uncalled for. That's almost unnecessary.
Sanjay Jha, completely unnecessary. Mr. Jha, that question was for you. Oops, can he not hear us? He probably cannot hear us. He probably cannot hear us. So let me, Mr. Jha, we'll give this another shot. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, cannot. But Mr. Khadial, would you want to respond to that? See, you don't like Jagdeep, you're upset about MPs being suspended left, right and center. The opposition has every right to be upset. I mean, after all, this is a record number of suspensions. There are some MPs who are coming out and saying, "Hum to apni chair pe hi baithe hue the. We were just standing, we were not even raising slogans and we were suspended." So what is this that the government and the speaker is trying to do? I understand being upset. What I don't understand, Mr. Khadial, is the sort of behavior that we have seen. Mr. Jha, can you hear me? If you can, then you could take that question.
I can hear you. I can
Mr.
hear you.
Khadial
Yeah.
could.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, answer
Shreya.
that.
What's the
I'm
question?
saying what Kalyan Banerjee... My question is, I am saying that what Kalyan Banerjee, the TMC MP, did was downright juvenile. Tushar is saying it was unnecessary. I mean, look at the man you're mocking. You may not like Jagdeep Dhankar, but the fact is that he is the vice president of this country, whether you like it or not.
Shreya, I want to make my answer very brief here. Number one, the critical element is that 140 plus MPs have been suspended. And that tells you that this government is authoritarian. You are seeing a totalitarian system in India. And I think the Speaker of the House has a responsibility to be dispassionate and impartial. Number one. Number two, as far as Mr. Dhankar is concerned, yes, it's a constitutional position. Yes, he's the Vice President of India. But let me also point out this. He also held a constitutional position as the governor of West Bengal earlier. And Shreya, may I point out that the TMC, when Mr. Dhankar was the governor of West Bengal, actually called him as a leader of the opposition because he was far from functioning as a constitutional position. It was an abuse of that power. I remember being very critical of him when, as the Vice President of India, he criticized the Supreme Court for saying that the basic structure of the Constitution should be altered, and why is it that that cannot be altered? I mean, this is a vice president making highly politically charged statements. As far as Kalyan Banerjee imitating him, let me tell you, nobody was abusing him. I know because I've been part of the political system for a long time. Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi family, whatever their strengths and failures, have been the most abused family by the BJP in India's parliamentary history. Nobody's abused him. And my last point, for God's sake, let's take a chill pill here, Shreya. If people are mimicking each other, I personally would not be so hypersensitive. Even the president of the United States of America attends shows where people lampoon him, mimic him, and that's part of the game. So I think let's not be selective here. There's no abuse. And end of day, I think if Rahul Gandhi is filming somebody trying to do an imitation, I think imitation is the best form of flattery. Let's not digress from the main issue, Shreya. This is the death of democracy that is buried.
Okay.
Mr. Dhankar can appear like, very morally sanctimonious. But hang on. Politics has been reduced into a pantomime because the BJP has made it one.
Mr. Patania, please respond to that. A, Sanjay Jha is telling the BJP to take a chill pill. There was no abuse involved. He's saying that the Gandhis for the last 8-9 years have been abused on a daily basis. यहाँ पे abuse तो नहीं था ना? There was just some mockery and some imitation. No sin was committed, he says.
Shreya, first of all, a very good evening to everybody on board. The basic issue remains that the working of the house is the biggest casualty. And India is still a tail ender. UK visit for 140, 150 days. This in America, it again sits for a greater number of sittings. In Speaker's Conference of 2002, we have decided that we will sit for minimum 110 days. This is not the issue between Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party and like other political party. This is a larger issue. First of all, you held ransom the biggest temple of democracy, that is Parliament, in with regard to the Manipur issue. Nothing came out. No, once again, you are again holding hostage the biggest temple of Parliament. And what happened today? It is an all-time low. It stands a precedent. It stands rational. It stands logic. And first of all, it defies the golden quote of Jawaharlal Nehru, the great grandfather of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who was filming it most shamelessly and most unabashedly. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru had retorted, he had said on the floor of the House that Speaker represents the House and House represents the nation. So Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, in addition to being the Vice President, he's the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. And such a shameless act being acted upon deliberately and such audaciously by the Congress spokesperson, by the Congress handlers, they don't have even an iota of shame or an iota of self-analyzation or realization that shouldn't they say sorry? We're sorry for disrespecting. Not you please don't name Mr. BP Dhankar. You simply say the chairman, the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. My respectful submission, where is the ultimate source? Why they are being suspended? Why don't you allow the House to function? Why don't you photograph your point from the mic of your bench? Why do you want to play an all-out game on the streets of Delhi, outside the Parliament? This is another part, madam. I also had been the MLA from Jammu and
Mr.
Kashmir.
Pathania,
I got the best.
Mr. Pathania, I understand your point about Mr. Dhankar, and I'll let the Congress party respond to that. But here's my question to you. Please. How is it a crime or a sin for the opposition to ask the Home Minister to come to the floor of the House and give a statement on the biggest Parliament security breach that we have seen in our history? Last time, in 2001, when the Parliament was attacked, there was no breach. They hadn't managed to enter the gates of Parliament. This time, there are intruders who managed to not just enter the gate of the Parliament, they were sitting in the visitors' gallery. What happened was serious. Shreya, has this now become a matter of ego कि opposition बोल रहा है इसलिए हम नहीं बोलेंगे?
Shreya, I don't dispute, I don't want to question the sanctity and the veracity behind the demand of the opposition. They have every right to demand the statement of the Home Minister. I say they could demand the statement of the Prime Minister also. But the procedure, the practice, the way they have acted and behaved in the past few days, this virtually has held the biggest institution, the biggest temple of democracy. They've held hostage. This house is meant for call attention motions. This house is meant for zero hour, the issues of public importance. This house is meant to discuss, to debate, to deliberate. The opposition has a right to expose, to depose. But there's a Lakshman Rekha for it. You should not cross that Lakshman Rekha. Please be respectful. Please be within the presence of the law and the Constitution of India. Please be oblivious of the fact that you are the honorable parliamentarian, sir. Please behave.
I'll let Sanjay Jha come in.
Please.
I will let Sanjay Jha come in. You have spoken of the Lakshman Rekha. That Lakshman Rekha was also crossed, Mr. Pathania, the day Mr. Bidhuria said and did what he did. I mean, it was the language used was such that I cannot repeat it here. Yes. In the hope that some children are still seeing news.
A House panel is taking care of it, and I'm hopefully the House panel comes out with a confirming judgment of the matter on issue. I'm not going to defend anybody.
We'll see.
Please.
We'll see.
Please,
Mr. Jha, go ahead.
Shreya, it's extraordinary that you said exactly what I was about to tell Mr. Pathania. That the most repugnant, reprehensible statement made against 200 million Muslims of this country in a language that you and I won't have the audacity to repeat for your wonderful viewers. And that BJP months later is talking about we are investigating it. Do people know? Do your viewers know?
That the House panel
was thereafter given charge. I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. Let me finish. Mr. Biduri was given in charge of a very critical district of Rajasthan, by the way, which has a majority, which has a very significant Muslim population, because they saw it as a strategic asset where he will be a polarizer. Clearly, they may have even benefited from that electorally. The second point, Patania Sahab, आपको बहुत खराब लग रहा है ना कि कुछ लोग मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं. भैया, मजाक और गाली में फर्क होता है. अश्विनी चौबे ने जो राहुल गांधी के बारे में कहा था, उसको मैं दोहरा नहीं सकता हूं. इतना जो दर्द और जो पीड़ित आप जो अभी आपकी आवाज में मैंने देखा है, ये परेशानी, ये दुखद आप साउंड कर रहे हैं. आपको उस समय भी लगना चाहिए था जब मोदी जी ने श्रीमती इंदिरा सोनिया गांधी जी को न्यू जर्सी काऊ कहा था. So let us not try and create different yardsticks. The Indian political system is definitely far from perfect, but I believe the BJP, I'm saying so, Shreya, the Congress also has made mistakes. I'm not going to deny it, that the BJP is responsible for lowering the political standards and the public discourse in this country.
Tushar Gupta, last word to you. As I said, I began by saying this is open season, so don't expect maryada and respect in Parliament, given what we are seeing, what we are seeing as of now. If the Speaker of the House had behaved less like a politician and more like a speaker, more like an apolitical body, maybe things wouldn't have been reduced to where they are. I'm not justifying what Kalyan Banerjee is doing. I frankly think it's stupid and juvenile. He shouldn't have done it. But it is what it is.
If we are going to describe the ongoing session as an open house, I think the best judge of what's going on in the parliament is the voters. But because Mr. Jha spoke about the sentiments of one community, I would like to point out what the Jat Association has tweeted. And this is a tweet from them after the Kalyan Banerjee theatrics, where they say, "Desh ke Uprashtrapati aur Jat Samaj ka gaurav isko insult kiya gaya hai." What they're essentially implying in this tweet that whatever the TMC has done, it has hurt the sentiments of the entire Jat community. Now, I'm saying the opposition has all the right to voice its concerns, all the rights in the world. But if they're going to go down to mimicking the Vice President of India, they are only weakening their case. You open the social media, you'll talk to the communities all across. They are not happy as to how the opposition is conducting itself. And perhaps that is why not a lot of many people are questioning why there's a huge number of suspensions in this session from the parliament.
We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. As they say, Janta hai sab janti hai. They are seeing everything. They'll decide in 2024. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Pathania, good to have you on the show. Advocate Kadial, thank you very much. Tushar Gupta, thank you. And Sanjay Jha, thank you. In case our viewers are wondering where the TMC was in this discussion, we did send them an invite, but they declined. Maybe they'll join us for another show, but they didn't want to join us for this one. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. News and updates continue.